Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ask Muso podcast, brought to you by Jim's Cleaning, Butterham South. I'm throwing down south again today, and I'm very excited to catch up with another big sound artist that's got a lot of brilliance behind the kit, and I'm here to pick his brain. So without any further ado, Joe, say hello and tell everyone a bit about yourself.
Hey, how you going? I'm Joe. I play the drums for a band called Drastic. I've been playing drums since I was 14. I'm 32 now, so I've had a bit of time behind the kit. Been in Melbourne for 7 years. I'm originally from New Zealand. Grew up in a small town called Taupo.
Awesome. So did the music start, or how long have you been in Australia for? Maybe I'll ask that to start with. How long have you been here, and is that when music started, or was there music before you moved?
I've been here for 7 years. I was sort of jumping in and out of things before I left New Zealand to come here. Sort of nothing serious. I just enjoyed playing the drums. Played in a heap of high school bands, heap of punk rock, pop punk, metalcore, just a bit of everything. Played in a jazz band for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm completely self-taught drummer, so jazz was pretty hard.
Yeah, I can imagine so. So, no lessons throughout the journey, just whatever you've picked up from yourself, or is it people around you that you've picked stuff up from?
Every one of my brothers, so I have 4 brothers. They're all drummers. They all play the drums at some point in their lives. And then when I started high school, I was really I was just skateboarding and listening to music, and then a couple of my friends started jamming, and then I saw a guy playing the drums. I was sort of thought, man, maybe I could get into this, like my brothers play. And then it was actually, it was a girl. I watched her play, and she was incredible. And I went, well, I think this is what I want to try out. And yeah, it went from there. And I sort of just watched like DVDs back then, didn't have YouTube, so watched a lot of Slipknot, watched a lot of Joey Jordison play the drums, and Travis Barker is like a huge influence. Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden is another one. Growing up with brothers, they just listened to that stuff flat out. So
some pretty big influences there. And like some pretty big names. When it comes to when it comes to music as a whole, have you always been in like a musical family other than the brothers, or has it just been you sort of watched them and sort of expected maybe one day I'll follow in that sort of line?
Yeah, not really. It's literally just like we've got a few like guitar players and that throughout my family, but in my like immediate family, just my brothers. My parents aren't into music. They love like listening to music, but they don't play. They have no interest in it. And then my brothers were all drummers, and yeah, it's just inspiring to watch them and take after them. So because they're all quite a bit older than me, so
yeah. So when did you sort of start with the bands? Like how long until you went, or was it sort of a band that you saw an opportunity with and went, oh, I better try, I better have a go?
Yeah, I was watching my friends play in high school, and I sort of thought, man, maybe I could do this. I started playing, and then my best friend, he was playing guitar, and he was like, we should jam. And I had no idea. I didn't even have a drum kit, so I was using my brother's set up in my bedroom, just trying our best to make music, and it was terrible. But after a little while of just sort of playing on my own, maybe a month or two, like at the time, System of a Down was that Toxicity album was the album to listen to, and Chop Suey was the song, and we decided that we'd all get together and try and play it for the talent quest.
Wow, so you didn't give yourself something easy to play then? You didn't just start with, let's play Smells Like Teen Spirit so that everyone can clap along?
No, not at all. Like, we didn't even have a full band as such. We had to get the music teacher in on the bass to fill the band up, and he was like, we were all out of our element. We'd never performed in front of anyone, and he'd played in front of people, so he was jumping around, and I was looking away the whole time. Like, the most awkward performance you'll ever see.
So did the live performance, the musical public speaking, so to speak, was that always a daunting thing? Is that something that you still sort of feel now, the nerves, or did it sort of you go, oh, look, it's no different to playing at home. It's just in front of people.
I always get nervous. I'm always nervous. I always feel like I'm never prepared, even though I do prepare. I'm pretty well prepared for it, but I think being in front of people is always awkward until I'm up there and I'm playing and it starts to feel very natural and it's comfortable. And it gets easier the longer I've been doing it now. But yeah, it's always still an awkward situation until you're up there playing. But
yeah. No, especially I find it a bit funky when I'm playing with Carlu for a couple of songs. She might kick me out and we might do a bit of she'll do some looping songs, whatever, and she'll run the loop pedal or whatever. And then I'll be hanging out with her girlfriend or something, and then people want to talk to me, and I'm like, sorry, I'm still in the mode of playing. Like I have to set up tracks with her and all that. I'm still in the mode of doing my thing. Like I need to be prepared for the next song, and I'm going to be back in 2 songs. That's really only 7.5 minutes, and I'm thinking about the next thing, and everyone's like, oh, Bailey, it's so cool. The first set, the first half of the set, you were great. I was like, yeah, cool. Not interested. I'll get back to you in like 25 minutes when we're done. It's a bit much to cope with. So I can understand it's an awkward thing, and you really do get in that zone because otherwise you do feel like, oh my God, have I forgotten how to play all of our songs?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's me. Well, especially if we're like, when we've played a couple of headline shows, as much as I love to catch up with people, my friends and stuff, I'm so like focused on just making sure the set works out and everything's prepared that I spend more time sort of just like, sorry, I can't, I'm jumping between everything. I've got eyes on the prize.
For sure.
So,
I totally get what that's like. You got to be sort of focused as best you can. Otherwise, you end up you don't enjoy it because you're thinking about something else. But I totally get that. So to skip over to the band, tell me a bit about Drastic Park. How did that all start off, and where are you guys at the moment?
So I'm not the original drummer. I've been in the band maybe 18 months. So I've been in there for a little while, and that sort of just started when I joined the band. So they just recorded their debut EP and that hadn't been released yet. And their original drummer he's originally like a metalcore, hardcore drummer, and he was more invested in that sort of scene. And I was coming off of my old band, Steadfast, and I was pretty like content just sort of playing the drums and not being tied to anything. But through Coach Canatelli, this guy Stephen Canatelli from Future Artist Development, he put me in touch with the boys, and I listened to their only single out, and I said, look, I'm pretty keen. This sounds pretty cool. I'll record a sort of a playthrough for you guys and send it over and see what you think. And they were pretty rapt, so we went from there, and yeah, the rest is history. But,
that's awesome. That's a really cool story because after speaking with Daniel Gay a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned working with him and the putting the feelers out over Facebook posts, whatever, and ended up him initially applying for Jurassic Park, and now he's with Ghost Seeker, and that you end up taking that position and all that. I suppose that leads me to something that's a pretty broad, big question. How important to you with, like, I see you with the Happy Pessimist clothes, and, I appreciate that I saw that picture you put out of you with my merch today and all that. How important to you is community and that sense of networking in the music scene?
It's huge, man. To me, it's like one of the most important things. Muso's looking after Musos, and there should be I just don't think there should be any of that negativity really in the music scene and between musicians. I think we should all support each other, and that's one of the big reasons why Big Sound was huge for me. I was just like that. Everyone's just supporting everyone, and you get behind everyone. It's awesome. You got to look after everyone.
Absolutely. Was jumping on with Steve and the Big Sound scene, was that something post Jurassic Park, or was that with Steadfast? Or how did you get involved with him?
So I was playing with Steadfast, and one of my good friends, Burjo, he knows Steve from way back, and he said, would you be interested in would you be keen to maybe play for a drumstick company? And I said, oh yeah, man, that sounds pretty cool. And he put me in touch with Steve, and we had a good chat, and yeah, our values aligned really well. Steve pretty much offered everything I was sort of looking for in a company, and I mean, I've been with them for just over 2 years now.
Everyone has a different story, but it's always that value thing, and how our view of the music industry and our view of raising people up. And I feel like maybe it's biased, maybe it's a bit of a drummer thing, but we absolutely get around one another. And we do it whether it's in the group chat, whether it's you playing with Analog Hope and Catholic Guilt and doing all those awesome things. Everyone gets around each other, and authenticity and all the boosting onto the socials and doing all the things you can do for free, like sharing that video, watching that, thing, listening to that song. Everyone does it, and everyone understands its importance. And yeah, I think that's such a big thing at the moment, and it's awesome to see you guys being a part of that, and to see where Drastic Park's going, and how you guys are all working together and playing shows together and doing tours together.
I mean, as much as I hate speaking of COVID, I feel like COVID has brought the local scene together a lot. Like the genres are starting to sort of meld together, and everyone's just getting along. It's like support bands, support musicians, and just get out there when you can to be there for these people. In
a backwards way of going forwards, everyone's sort of acknowledged in a bit of a blue way that no one's going to come to our rescue. Whenever we have crises, the first people to put on a fundraiser are Musos, but we're in a crisis of our own, and no one can even throw us a wet penny. So it's made all of us go, we're a team. Sure, you play metalcore and I play pop punk, and you're in a jazz standards group and I play covers, but we all play music. So we're all the same. And I think that's super important to be, as individuals, put that aside for a sec and go, collectively, we're on the same team. And how awesome it is that whenever opportunities arise, we're always looking at ways we can handball something to someone else. Or I can't do that, but I know a bunch of guys that would love to. Those sorts of things.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's it really is just, it's awesome to see. We've come a long way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think things have only gotten stronger, and as a connection, even across the country, the big sound artists, how we all connect with each other and all that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's only getting bigger. Like since Steve and James have worked together. I mean, shout out James Noble, absolute legend, and Steve, of course. Yeah, they're pushing the brand harder, and I mean the artists coming on are crazy.
Yeah,
it's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's not just a situation where you see a bunch of people that like doing things, or they've got a bit of a group together that like to do stuff, and they're at the amateur tier and things. We get pictures sent in of bands that are in the group that are playing at Unify and Calandra Music Festival and all these things. We're doing stuff. People in this group are making moves, and they're a bunch of people to watch out for.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy to see. I mean, when I first joined, the group was quite small and just growing out, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger. But the artists that have been in the group since I've been there have grown as well and just gotten bigger and bigger. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to really get behind and just watch everyone growing and progressing, and Steve and now James just nurturing that, which is awesome.
Absolutely. It's like having your two best dads. I've got to ask a bit about the band. So the new music, I know there's a lot of music coming out with the band, and there's been lots of stuff coming out with EPs and the like. So what's coming out at the moment? Tell me the sort of the score with Jurassic Park. What do you guys got going on at the moment?
So we just announced a new song called Snakes and Ladders that's out September 16th. Sorry. It's the first song I've recorded with the band with a proper engineer. So prior to that, I joined just before lockdown, so I pretty much had to learn how to just record my own drums and try and get through that, editing and all of that. So pretty excited on this one. It's definitely a step forward for the band, personally. I think we're really coming into our own. I mean, we've done a little bit of touring this year and played a few shows, and we're really gelled in now. And I think these next songs coming out, so this is the first of 3 recorded with our engineer Jack Newland, and I think they're really gonna show that Drastic Park means actual, we're serious about what we're doing. And as self-deprecating as we are as a band, we like to have a laugh and mock ourselves. We like the music to sort of carry that serious vibe behind it, and tell our story and how we feel. And
yeah, I think for three Melbourne lads, you really do get that juxtaposition between, to be completely candid, taking the piss out of yourselves constantly. I remember having a chat with Dan, and he's like, he even said in there, he's like, oh, because it was going to be Joe who was going to be in there from Drastic Park, that shit band. And it's funny because that's the sort of thing you blokes would say about yourselves. It's totally a real contrast with the music itself. So what's Snakes and Ladders about? Like the latest track, what's it about?
So Snakes and Ladders is basically about just not caring about what others have to, what others think of you. It's basically just carry your heart on your sleeve, speak how speak freely, and just embrace the hate that people give you and make it, really push you forward. Feed the flame, basically. I mean, they're all part of the lyrics to the song, but it's literally about just do you. Do you, don't let others hold you back, don't fall into the what do people think of me sort of vibe, and just get on with it.
Yeah, don't fall into that rut of being, which is easy to do, especially when there's not much on the horizon and you've become well and truly accustomed with the four walls that you live in. Don't let a niggle, a troll, a nobody jump in there and let it affect you at all, because you're doing something. What I always think about, because there's been times, and maybe part of the reason why I moved on from Victoria a couple of years ago was there were people that had more interest in having an axe to grind than perhaps in creating anything themselves. And every time I think about when I see people I like, or when I think about myself and see a bit of narcissism or a bit of hate on things, it's like, I've actually created something for you to hate in the first place. What have you created?
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. That's like, I think a lot of people these days really get caught up in truly caring what others think. You know what I mean? And I feel like once you can sort of get past that and just worry about what you're doing, it's the best part of it. And you leave so many negative things in the back. It's great.
Yeah, and it gives you a bit more of a freedom to express yourself, because you're like, the people that know that this band that I'm in, or this song that I'm writing, or this podcast I decided to do cranks, they're going to think it cranks anyway. And those that think I smell and I wear the wrong t-shirts, they're going to hate me anyway. So it's never going to be for them. So once you get out of that subjective mindset of being being everything to everyone, and you really realize that that's a fallacy, suddenly you get the weight comes off, and you can be like, sweet, let's just be me, or let's be us, and let's be the band, and we want to take that silly photo and put it on Instagram. Yeah, why not? It's been nice to have that in my band with Total Radio Silence. When I get a photo or something, or it's us being absolute galahs, like when we were in Brisbane last, Dad took some ridiculous photos of us, and we got some random guy to sit in front of us with a pizza box. I'm never like, oh boys, I know that it's not like super on brand for us, but is it alright if I post this photo? We all had a laugh, we all got a smile on our faces. It goes up because that's us. That's what we do.
Yeah, man. That's how it should be. That's 100% how it should be. Just, you see it in, like, especially see it in most music these days. Serious photos, like, just not really representing who you are. And yeah, I think it's not that I think it's lame. I just think it's so, like, overdone. Just be yourself, let yourself flow. And like you're saying, random guy with a pizza box in front of you. That's awesome. Like, people are actually going to look at that and laugh. And that's what it's about,
Yeah, and the sort of people that was standing with him are the sort of people that you get if you meet us after the show. We don't change. There's not four different blokes. It's the same guys. And like, if you have, I think I'd like to know your spin on this, playing in the pop punk scene as we both have at different times. Isn't it a crock of shit when it's all moody faces and serious black and white and all that? What a crock of shit. Pop punk is the most bouncy, uplifting. It's talking about pizza. It's talking about the fact that I don't want to live at home anymore. It's talking about the fact my skinny jeans are too tight and my girlfriend left me. And no, Kate, she's not coming back. But it's funny. So why all the bloody the passport faces?
Yeah, Dan, absolutely. That take yourself seriously moniker needs to go. I mean, not all the time, but in music, I think you should just enjoy yourself because it shows, and that's like our best part of it is we just enjoy ourselves, and I think it shows in our live performance, and it's you bring the energy that way, and like my favorite part of it is just people that like the music and reach out that I have no idea who they are. They reach out like friends, not fans or anything like that. They just reach out like someone who is like-minded, and they talk to you like a friend, and you can have a good laugh, and you don't even know these people. Like some of these people I've never met in my life, and I have a great conversation with them, and it's awesome. It's the best part of it.
Exactly, and you get a connection with someone, especially because you're approachable. If you're all serious and smoke and mirrors and we post 3 pictures at once and they're all the same photo and it's our Instagram aesthetics very serious, no one's going to message you. You take yourself so seriously, I don't even understand how you can fit through the door in your room. Like, it's like, that's not approachable. Whereas when you're approachable and you're just 3 guys to play some instruments, suddenly everyone's like, oh I messaged buddy Joe from Drastic Park because I saw the photo he posted of his dog was quite funny and we had a chat for like 10 minutes. That was a bit of a laugh. That's what people, for lack of a better word, get off on. That they love that, and we love that. Like, we're approachable people. Nothing's changed. There's no difference between the band and the others. That's the sort of thing. And even you and I, not to get too blue, who knows whenever the fuck we'll ever get a chance to share a beer together. But
what is that, man? Yeah.
There's the connection, and that counts for more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the more bands that can like just carry that, just break the level between fan and just friend, and just I feel like it changes the whole reason to play music, and it's just so much more enjoyable that way when you don't have to act cool, just be yourself.
Yes, all the funny rules that no one really ever made up, but very few people, more now than ever, as you say, are willing to break. But there's these glass ceiling rules that I don't know who made them up, but that we have to be cool and all this sort of stuff. People enjoy the performance. They enjoy the people that produce the performance, because when you're producing a performance like you guys do in DP and all that, that's why they came.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Our biggest thing when we hit the stage live is we get a massive chant from the crowd that says "fuck Drastic Park." And they chant it, and they love it. Like, they get into it. It's the best. Like, we played our first time when we played Sydney. It was on the Wolfstone Park tour. First show. We'd never met Clay J. Gladstone and Wolf and Chain before. And we had a couple of people that listened to us, and they knew that we were self-deprecating sort of band. And they yelled from the crowd when we were on the stage, "Fuck Drastic Park." And the chant got bigger and bigger, and it was great. And then Clay J got up. They were the headline act of the night, and they got up and they said, "But what do you mean, fuck Drastic Park?" They didn't get it at first, and by
they're
the
like,
end of the
"These guys
tour,
are really good."
Yeah, and by the end of the tour, they were just full blown. They were on stage saying "fuck Drastic Park" as well.
That's so funny because in the scheme of things, it's a piss take at how self-deprecating it is, but it's showing that the audience just loses their mind, and commanding an audience. For me, that's when I die a happy man, is when it doesn't have to be my songs, doesn't have to be anything like that, but when I'm got my ears in and I've got minimal drum mics and the nearest vocal microphones at the front of the stage, and I can hear everyone cheering in the middle of a song over the tracks. Yeah, I know we've made it now. That for me that's a big thing for me. When I can hear things through the ears, through the vocal mics in my ears, because it's that loud, that's incredible.
Absolutely, man. Like, yeah, when we played our first headline show, like, I've played headlines before, and it's been fun, but the engagement with Drastic, like the Drastic community was huge. Like, singing songs, and like, for me, I don't really look up, I just get on with it. But I mean, from that day, I sort of, as a player live, I I just smile when I play now. And like my joke between friends is I don't really smile. I'm very straight faced. But yeah, playing live because of like our little community we've got has just changed the way I look at playing. It's great. Like I actually look out and see people enjoying it. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what everyone comes for. No one comes to see the album played live. People come to see the performance. And everyone that I know, especially in our circles, they bring that. So everyone wants to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, we have some, I wouldn't say shocking, like, we are, like, overly analytical of our playing, and we criticize ourselves, as you do. But, like, you feel like you have some shocking sets, and then you look back at, like, the footage, and you're like, oh, man, everyone was in such a good vibe. Like, even if John's missing guitar notes, but he's running backwards and forwards around the stage, like, the interaction is so huge that people don't care about how you play. You know, it's only musos at the back watching how you play. But even then, like, if the crowd is going in, that's all they care about.
Absolutely. You can't fight that. If you play to the punters, and yes, you're going to be like, oh my God, I almost dropped my drumstick 3 times, and geez, that was a bum note. Yeah, but that's just the way it is. That's part of that don't care what other people think. Don't care what Joe that was just playing drums 5 minutes thinks. Just care about what's happening now. Be in the moment. Live in the moment. And that really goes to that not feeling the fire thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Where is everyone going to find you? Where's everyone going to find Joe? Where's everyone going to find Drastic Park? Plug the socials. Where can everyone find you?
Our Twitter is at Drastic Park Band. Instagram at Drastic Park Band. And Facebook is just Drastic Park, I think. And then we also have a trash posting page, which you can, on Facebook, we can jump in and take the piss out of the band. And that's Drastic Park Trash Posting.
Awesome. No, that sounds bloody brilliant. Well, I think a lot of people need to find themselves a bit of DP to pass the time, especially in lockdowns and business at the moment. And I'm very much looking forward to all the things that you guys got coming up. Yourself and the guys. You're a great bunch of lads, and the music speaks for itself. But yeah, very excited, and Snakes and Ladders and anything else that comes up very, very soon. Very excited to have a listen and a watch and share it around.
Hell yeah, thank you, man. I mean, looking forward to being able to get up to Queensland and actually play in your sunny state.
Yes, play in the Sunshine State, Drastic Park, Total Radio Silence. Holy dooly, I'll be there. I should be, since I'm playing drums.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It is going to bloody happen. Well, I appreciate it, Joe. That's another episode of the Ask a Muso podcast, and it was an absolute pleasure because this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to community and drums and all those awesome things that we're loving at the moment whilst we're not playing shows and not able to get on the stage. But once a week, every Tuesday, on the YouTube, the bell, the subscribe button, all the things you need to do, you'll find them there. Catch up with all the other weeks if you've missed any, and until next week, I'll see you later.